Okay, can we start?
Yes, sir.
So we just started off with the new module, financial institutions, right? So I've told you we need to discuss this under 3 branches. We have started off with banks. Okay, banks is the financial institution. Then we need to discuss about DFIs, and then we will discuss about NBFCs. I've told you there is a unified structure. You can see to an extent in banks and DFIs. But NBFCs are altogether different products like insurance, mutual funds, all these are part of NBFCs. We will discuss Islamic banking, venture capital, everything under NBFCs. So we have discussed the condition for any financial institution to become banks. Yesterday we have done that. What are the conditions? Anyone can tell that? 3 conditions that we have discussed yesterday for any institution to become banks. What are the conditions?
Deposits, loans.
So it should be accepting deposits. Any financial institution accept deposits, give loans, that means lending, and one more. Time. Not time, demand withdrawal, right? So we have discussed about demand withdrawal facility. So demand withdrawal facility means at any time you can give a check and you can withdraw. So I've told you why post office banks are technically not banks, why this Muthoot Finance and all, why these are not technically banks. We have discussed by discussing this, and then we have discussed about 3 major types of banks, and in that we have covered 2, right? We have talked about commercial banks and cooperative banks. So this is what we have done so far. So DFIs we are yet to discuss, NBFCs we are yet to discuss, and one more in bank, that is regional rural banks. So here today we will start with regional rural banks. Okay, what you can do is you can give a heading, regional rural banks. Regional rural banks. So under that you write, these are special type of commercial banks. These are special type of commercial banks which provide concessional credit. Which provide concessional credit to the agriculture and rural sector. Concessional credit to the agriculture and rural sector. So these are special type of commercial bank. Okay, so this is having an element of commercial bank. So the organization is like, so how it is organized? It is organized similar to commercial banks. Okay, but it provides concessional credit. So that means it is not profit motive here. It is social welfare. So the objective is similar to cooperative bank. So we discussed yesterday, we already done with commercial bank and cooperative bank. So here when we discuss about regional rural banks, its organization is similar to the commercial banks, but the objective is similar to cooperative bank. So mainly the objective is social welfare. So you are giving concessional credit to weaker section, agriculture and rural sector. Okay. Now registration you write, it is registered under Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. So registered under RRB Act 1976. Okay, what is the first RRB? Any idea? First RRB? First Regional Rural Bank?
The Pratham Bank.
Yeah, Prathama Bank in Moradabad. Prathama Bank, Moradabad, right? Nitish?
Yes, sir, UP.
Yeah, UP. So Prathama Bank. Prathama Bank in UP, Moradabad, okay? So you can see regional rural banks, usually the names will be like Grameen Bank, Vikas Bank, etc. These are the usual names you can see in case of regional rural banks. So now how is it established? These are established jointly by sender. So sender will contribute here, and then state is also a stakeholder, and then commercial bank. I've told you the operation and organization is similar to commercial bank. So center contribution, the shareholding is actually 50%. So shareholding was like this: sender, state and commercial bank. Sender half, 50%, state 15%, and commercial bank 35%. Okay, why do you need the help of commercial bank? Why this commercial bank is also involved in this establishment?
Actually, sir, procedure is supervised by parent to commercial bank only.
No, basically this is they have incorporated for that professional expertise. They are, that technology, the professional expertise. I've told you already. The organization is similar to what? Organization is similar to commercial banks, but the objective is similar to cooperative banks. So it can be managed. We have already discussed some problem. Yesterday I've told you some problem with cooperative banks, right? So it is not efficient. It is politicization. A lot of issues are there with respect to election. So there are issues with cooperative banks. Okay. So to solve that, regional rural bank to an extent do that, because commercial bank is also part of this. So you can get that technical expertise or that professional expertise from this side. Okay, now why is it known as regional rural banks? You can write one line over there. RRBs was permitted to establish. RRBs, yesterday also we have discussed this, 3 geographically, day before yesterday, right? So RRBs was permitted to establish its branches in not more than 3 districts which are geographically connected. RRBs was permitted to establish its branches in not more than 3 districts geographically connected. So this was earlier. Now I exactly don't know the condition of RRBs. So I have to check this whether is it applicable now also. So RRBs was permitted to establish its branches in not more than 3 districts which are geographically connected. So you cannot establish beyond 3 districts. What is the logic behind this? That means it should be specific region. One RRB is there means it should be specific region. You cannot establish more than 3 geographically connected districts. What is the logic behind this? Now, if you are allowing the RRBs to expand, the entire focus will change, right? So now, what is the objective? Objective is social welfare and to take care of the local needs of the local people, right? The agriculture and rural sector, right? So to take care of the local needs of the local people, this was established. So if you are allowing to expand, then that objectives may get diluted. So that is the reason why this provision was there. Now if you see 1975 first bank, okay, then 1987 when it reached 196 branches, okay, so 196 branches was there when it was in 87. Then it was maintained till 2005. No more expansion. You need to strengthen the banks more. That was the idea. So there were no new RRBs, so it maintained as 196. Okay, now after this RRB started merging. Okay, so now if you see it is around 60 RRBs. Okay, so what happened is actually the numbers are decreased from 196 to 60, but that doesn't mean that resources are decreased. Okay, only the number is decreased. There was an amendment in 2014, RRB Act. RRB Act that we have discussed, there was an amendment in 2014. So you can write RRB Amendment Act. Okay, so RRB Amendment Act 2014. So the main points you can write there. First one, authorized capital. Authorized capital. I'll tell you what is this authorized capital. We will discuss different types of capital today itself. After completing this, I'll discuss this. Okay, so just write authorized capital. Authorized capital of RRB. Authorized capital means the maximum capital which can be raised by the company. Okay, the maximum capital which can be raised, but it is not necessary that you may be able to raise that much capital from the investors. So this is the maximum capital which can be raised. We will come to this later. Just right now in the amendment, authorized capital of RRBs increased from 5 crore to 2000 crore. Okay, so authorized capital means the maximum share capital of the company which company can raise. The maximum share capital company can raise. So the idea is the size will increase. When the size increase, the quality will also increase. That is the reason why this provision. Second, you can write RRBs can raise funds from private entities. RRBs can raise funds from private entities, but the central government and public sector bank shareholding should not reduce below 51%. So here we have seen this is the shareholding, right? This should not, where is it? Yeah, so the center and state should not reduce less than 51%. At least 51% should be with the center. So RRBs can raise funds from private entities, but the central government and public sector banks shareholding should not reduce below 51%. Third, their directors to be appointed by the shareholders. That is a normal case only. Directors to be appointed by the shareholders. Okay, in 2014 there was a prelims question. Okay, now we are done with commercial bank. We have talked about cooperative bank. We have talked about regional rural bank. Commercial bank is operating on the principle of profit. Cooperative bank we have discussed, that is for social welfare. This regional rural banks also for social welfare. And you can see maximum 100%, mostly complete loans are given in the rural and agriculture area when it comes to regional rural bank and also the cooperative bank, right? So there was a question in 2014. The question in prelims was share in agriculture credit. Who among the following have maximum share in agriculture credit? Commercial banks, cooperative banks, and then regional rural banks. Okay, one more option was there. I don't remember. So what do you think is the answer? Commercial bank, cooperative bank, regional rural bank.
Still the commercial bank.
RRB. Regional rural bank.
Commercial bank. That's the highest.
Any idea? Others?
RRB.
RRB. See here, when we talk about the share in agriculture credit, I'll tell you, out of 100 rupee which is given, 65 will be given by, or I put in percentage, 65% commercial bank, 25% by cooperative bank, and 10% by RRBs. So who's having maximum share? Commercial bank. Why? It is not because they want to lend to agriculture. It is because of there is a compulsory lending under which scheme? Priority sector lending, right? So you have to, this is compulsory, priority sector lending, 40% you have to lend for priority sector, out of which 18% should be given for agriculture. That means the total credit of commercial banks, out of which 18% should be given to agriculture. Now what I am saying here is, this 18% of commercial bank is much more than the 100% of cooperative bank and 100% of regional rural banks. That is the reason why, even though you are just satisfying the minimum condition, which is a commitment under RBI guideline, that is 18% you have to give it to agriculture, but still that is more than the entire loan given by these two people. They may be giving their entire 100%, but that is their 100%. Okay, the volume of loans which is given, if you compare, commercial banks are giving so much, right? So in that context. Now compared to these
Sir,
two.
Sir, ECL is not applicable to cooperative and RRB banks?
Which one? Which PSL? Priority sector lending.
Sir, means cooperative banks and RRB doesn't have to follow PSL.
It is applicable.
norms and all.
It is applicable. But what I'm saying is, PSL is mainly required for whom? It is applicable mainly for commercial bank, because they will not lend to agriculture, right? They don't want to, because there is a chance that they will go for default, etc. There is a chance that, but RBI is compelling under priority sector lending. So you have to give 40% under priority sectors, out of which the priority sectors could be education, it could be housing, it could be agriculture. Out of this 40, further division 18 should go to agriculture. So what I'm saying is, here cooperative bank, what is their objective? Their objective is not profit. They are willing to give all loan to agriculture. There is no point of priority sector lending which is required over there. They are giving entire 100% to agriculture only. But the problem is,
Okay, sir.
the problem is 18% of commercial bank is much more than 100% of cooperative bank. The volume of loans which is given by these three banks, if you compare, the volume is so high in, can you ever compare an HDFC bank with any cooperative bank? No. So that is what I'm saying. The volume of loan given is so high. So that is the reason why out of the total credit, this 18% if you see from the commercial bank, that will form 65% of the total credit towards agriculture. Even though these banks are giving 100%, that will form only 25 and 10. Okay, now again, if you compare between these two, cooperative bank and RRB, what do you think? Which one is better? Cooperative bank or RRB? Can you say cooperative bank is better than RRB, regional rural banks?
In what respect?
No, I am just asking you, here I have given you some data. Cooperative banks I am saying 25%, RRB is 10%. So looking into this,
Cooperative bank is good.
yeah, but looking into this, you can say cooperative bank is good. But if you look in terms of efficiency, there are so many cooperative banks. The numbers, if you consider cooperative banks, are so high. Okay, but the quality, RRB is actually few, but still better performance. So you cannot say that the cooperative banks are doing well in this context. So much numbers are there when it comes to cooperative banks. RRBs are, I've told you, 60, very less.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So schemes such as Kisan credit card, they are there in RRBs also.
That is there in commercial banks also.
That is there in commercial bank. That I know, but it's available in RRBs also.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now anyway I've talked about that authorized capital, so we will try to cover what are the different types of capital here. Okay, so before we move towards DFIs, Development Financial Institutions, and NBFCs, we will try to cover the types of capital, and we will also talk about securities here, bonds and shares, etc. So first you give a heading, types of capital. What are the different types of capital? So first one, the same one that I have discussed, you can write authorized capital. Authorized capital. So what is this? This is a maximum capital which can be raised by a company. So right under that, maximum share capital that can be raised by a company.